If pre-run nerves are showing, it's because they are. Because this is going to be a very crazy and chaotic experience here. So let's go ahead and get this queued up. We hit the mighty difficulty, okay, and while it creates the save data, this is the last moment for me to get any last minute accommodations on this end that I will need. I don't anticipate needing anything, except for maybe a desperate run to the bathroom once the run is over, because we're likely going to be here for 3.5 hours, but we're going to have fun doing it. So let's go ahead and get this underway. Cutscene skips really weigh on you because you get so used to running the certain pattern, sometimes you jump the gun and it puts you into the pause menu, which is certainly suboptimal. And away we go. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone to help speed the movement along in this.
Scans were right.
Early on, just because all of these characters have the same movement speed. Star-Lord does have the benefit of being able to navigate around some of the floor hazards with a little bit more ease than some of his other teammates, but he will not be staying on the team past the Sandman fight, because he's just not an optimal character to have around at all.
Everyone, take cover!
And here we go. And since we get a... I don't recall if we get a recharge after this little puzzle section. However, it doesn't really matter because I don't use Star-Lord for this first section of combat anyway. And that was a suboptimal blast that we just took there from that explosive, but it's fine. Alright, little unskippable cutscene here into a cutscene that we can skip through, and that was an excellent skip there because it allowed us to get through it before any of the activation frames of the cutscene came up. And then it's just focusing on Nebula really is what this comes down to. I couldn't get a synergy attack there to stun her out. That's bad. And just focus her down a bit more. Oh, cool. We got a level up there, which means that we've got our energy points automatically refreshed, which means that I should be able to chain a stun there. No problem. I don't know if it was previously because I didn't have the energy points needed for it, or if it was a different issue. And then she soups up her little charge shot attack there. This team is just not great for combat in general. Extreme attacks out here. And the extreme attacks didn't quite do her in.
I still hate this lady.
There we go. Not a bad time on that fight overall. Could have been better. Let's grab Drax, because I think he's the best one to use for this next section.
Was not meant for us. Then who was it for?
And there may be some strategy to level grinding with some of these characters later on in the run, but it's just not worth it this early because you don't end up using Drax or any of these team members past the Sandman fight. there's just much better options available to you
These ones think
right
they are
there.
tough. How amusing.
Smash the core
So,
computer and the barriers
let's
should go down. Bombs? All right.
get a couple of hits in on this computer here.
You let us into now.
Danger and chaos. Two of my favorite things.
And it's just a matter of continuing to attack even through these opponents as they throw themselves at us. Rolling around all of these different opponents as they come through, and particularly these explosions. And we do get recharged before going into the Ronin fight, so I'm not super concerned. I should have gone right there, but I didn't know where Star-Lord's placement was.
That's over. Don't get too comfy, pal.
Okay, there's our refresh,
Destination's right on the other side
and
of this door.
here comes Ronin. Excellent little cutscene skip there as well.
The Kree were trying to save all of time and space from being ripped asunder. But you Guardians had to barge in and expose us all to those who will ultimately bring our destruction.
Now that you say it, that totally does sound like something we could do. Oh, watch out for that one.
Nice little stun there. It's worth expelling the extreme attacks at this point because they get massive amounts of damage in, and as you can see, we've got more time to build them back up by the time the second phase of this fight comes around. Alright. Pull away from that charge attack. Not a stun there, which is a bit unfortunate. These characters just get a lot stronger and a lot more annoying. And we didn't get the stun off there, but we should get the trigger into the second phase of the fight, which is fine.
Was that?
It's too late. The Kree sacrificed thousands of brave souls.
Okay, we can't get in there to get a follow-up attack on him before he sends that attack crashing into us there.
Perhaps this is all a misunderstanding.
If we could stop fighting for just a minute, we might be able to find a way to fix this.
The damage is already done.
I just don't like using this team because their damage output is not great, especially when they're as underleveled as these characters are currently.
Whoever you're afraid of, Ronin,
Okay,
we
we've
can
got
help
more
you fight
incoming
them.
thunder strikes,
Clearly not a team player, Gamora.
but the next time that we get him staggered out, we should be able to detonate, or not should, but we will go ahead and detonate our extreme attacks, and that should burn through the remainder of his
At least for you.
health, or at least a good portion of it. Oh, that's a big lightning jolt. Fortunately, that large one doesn't have a series of follow-up strikes like that one does. Oh, nice. Got the stun there. And that's the Ronin fight out of the way. Only a few final things to do before we get to optimize our team a little bit better. And that's the first point on my little checklist here. As I lean out of frame to correct something over that way. This Ronin feels a lot slower than the New Game Plus one as well, which is the one I've been doing a lot more testing with as of recent.
Why Why were we transported to this place, Quill?
The other interesting
This
thing
wall
is
structurally
that
unsound. Perhaps.
these this hazard initially has an interact feature to it,
Looks like we just made bail, Guardians.
and the interesting bit about that is it's not present in any of the other runs. All the other runs you can just immediately unleash your attack there. Also, I see a lot of people, when doing this run, they'll run to the other end of this corridor
Now
and
can
then
we
double
finally
back
get
to
out of
restoring
here?
the terminal. That is not necessary, because the terminals are already ready to be interacted with by the time that you do get there. Alright. Getting Rocket and Groot to send out their explosions are actually really good there, because it gets a decent amount of area coverage.
Cell block brawl to make me feel right at home.
Despite the fact that they're not great on the damage front, it does get large amounts of damage on the opponents that are over that way. And I hate the camera angle that can sometimes happen in this portion of the fight. There we are. Now we get to meet up with Spidey
Where in the universe we are?
and continue on
The other
forward.
prisoners look strangely human-ish.
Not quite your namesake, Skull Spidey.
I hear you, buddy.
But
Sure
yeah.
brings back some memories, don't it?
Unless there's something you're not telling me. Oh, I thought I skipped that cutscene more cleanly than that. Alright, I won't tell anyone.
Guess home is still my happy place. It won't be for long if we don't get things under control.
The one thing that I don't necessarily like here is that the NPCs don't seem to do quite as much damage against these opponents, which isn't great because there are times where, you know, Spidey will be over here layering into an opponent and he just won't quite have it in him to actually finish him off, so they sit on like minuscule amounts of health for the last little bit. And then they just don't go down until you make your way over there to finish them yourself, or they will eventually go down, but it takes a long time for them to do so. Also, Storload's little tornado attack there isn't super great because it more often than not kicks the enemies up into the air, which discourages follow-ups from the rest of the team. You might call it the easy breezy, but it certainly causes more problems than making them easier. There we go. Still no movement optimization until about the third waypoint, because Nightcrawler's the first character that we get that has increased movement speed. Because for these runs, you do technically have Deadpool available early on, but that's because of the DLC purchase bonus, which is banned for these runs. So you might have Deadpool in your playable roster, but you cannot play him this early on. I think he normally unlocks in the Xavier Mansion, but Nightcrawler is just much better when it comes to movement speed and teleportation, so it's not worth having Deadpool around for his movement speed increase. He's not a terrible option when it comes to damage and the damage that he can output, but there's also much better options when it comes to damage. And some of those options are the ones that we're going to get right here. Fortunately, this Sandman fight requires additional cycles because you just don't quite have the means to deal enough damage to him. Like normally in the friendly difficulty, you get to a point during that combat where, right like that, you have a bunch of the raft prisoners that show up, and that will help you restore your energy points, your health, a bunch of other stuff. Oh boy. I also normally don't deal a whole lot with these guys, but they do make things a bit more annoying if you don't take care of them beforehand. Also, that large hammer strike that Sandman has, it does have a quake type effect on the rest of the arena. However, if you are right underneath it, it deals massive amounts of damage, which makes sense because that's about what you'd expect from that. Now that there's only one of these opponents blundering around, the rest of my team is decently engaged with him. But now they'll actually get back on that other turret to help me take down the rest of Sandman there. It also opens up the camera angle a bit better so you can see what type of attacks Sandman is going to throw out at you. So there is a benefit to some degree. Okay, here's the third wave of prisoners. Ooh, I don't think I quite rolled out of the way there. Let's see if we can finish these guys off. Unfortunately, we didn't get struck by that attack there from Sandman. There we go. I mean, Gamora can chain some of her attacks out of her heavy attack here, following aerial, so that helps a little bit in terms of damage ramp up. And this should be the last of the Sandman fight. You also save minuscule amounts of time by avoiding the damage that he can throw in at you from either that ground sand strike or the sand blast that he'll do.
A pity that it had to come to this, at least for you.
That's what I call team.
And this should be the rest of Sandman's help, and it is. Nice work there. And then we got all these character introductions that eats up a good 30 seconds of this run, and it's unavoidable. You can't do anything about it. But it does happen, so you just kind of deal with it as it's going.
This captain is ready for action. Time to face the magic.
Mission accepted.
Time to slice and dice.
Now you're in my element.
So we will be adding
This here
a
is
couple of
shield
team
post.
members here.
Stop at one of these when you need assistance.
Alright, let's get ourselves a hero select here, because we've just got to get some better damage dealers on par. So you can see here what I mentioned. Deadpool is available to us, but he is off limits because he's... And the biggest reason why is he's level 21, and that just throws things way out of balance, and it's a DLC perk of having purchased the DLC. So that's the biggest reason why. We're just going to go ahead and swap out the entirety of the team for now. But not all of these players will be staying. We'll keep Thor and Hulk, and then we will switch into Psylocke and Nightcrawler once we get to the Xavier Institute.
Was that the Green Goblin circling the control tower?
These characters are
No
just
telling
much
the
better in
damage
terms
that maniac
of
can do if he gains
power,
access to the
damage
rack
output,
security systems.
a lot of
Shield
things.
scanners are going wild. You must be close to something.
And then I'm going to try a trick
You should
here.
be able to reach the control tower from here. If you can avoid triggering the defense system, you should be fine.
It's at the end of this hallway. I'm going to try something and see if that helps us at all.
Help you with that.
Okay, we got right through that, despite the minor mishap we had with it. Now, it works better with Nightcrawler,
Don't worry, little heroes.
because he can jump further that way, and it didn't quite work with Thor here.
They're in control of all the raft's heavy weaponry.
There we go. Right through the laser grid. And then we'll bring Hulk back to this corner, because I really don't like these guys. As they do a lot of damage from a distance with their fire blasts. Oh, I don't like it when you guys do that and you hit me out of my abilities. Didn't get around to it that time, though. Oh, you're vulnerable. There we go. Okay, let's get Thor out here. Mjolnir strike over this way. There we go. Oh, that was not the guy I wanted you to hit. Take out those guys. And then it's just a matter of leading into this gentleman a bit further. And through that section as well. But before we completely run away, we want to activate this little gauge and slice through this crate, because that's an XP cube that's going to be very helpful to us later on. Those XP cubes don't do a whole lot for you when you are a lot further ahead, but at this early game they can make or break sections of your run.
Nice work, team.
We'll just use Cap to get through a lot of these opponents. He's on fire a little bit. And then we'll just run right into the Electro Venom fight. Alright. Unfortunately, Wolverine doesn't have access to some of his better abilities for this fight, but it's okay. Nice stun there. These opponents just take so much less damage on these higher difficulties. It's insane. Let's get another. Synergy came just a little late there. Alright, we've got Electro bouncing around the arena in a fashion similar to Claw. Oh, we've got the stun there. This fight just drags this early on. I'm used to getting through these fights a lot quicker with opponents that are at higher level, or team members that are at higher level, I should say. Apparently, Cap doesn't have a team synergy with that. Thor and Hulk do, though. There we are. That's through the Electro portion of this fight, and now the Venom. He takes reduced damage in this phase of the fight anyway. Fortunately, he will stun himself when he leaps up and comes back down supercharged. Oh, I forgot that his stuff is all. Nice work there. Let's get a set of extreme attacks off here. Ooh, that was nice. he does have a synergy. It's with Thor as well.
Now that he's all amped up, your powers aren't
Okay,
working on
this should be
But
the
Venom's silhouette is
last
still vulnerable to
portion
sonic
of this
attacks.
fight.
Maybe we can use the prison alarm system against it. Certainly.
Okay, that will leave him vulnerable. Then let's just hack and slash into him. And that is the case. Nice work there. Okay, got the Venom portion here. Cool character. I really love playing around with him, but this is not it. Gamora's facing backwards just there, and I don't feel like she normally does that.
I'm the one in control.
But we will find out at a later date, I guess, when I have time to backtrack and look at that. Here's another really fun character to play around with. He just doesn't quite have the power
I'm letting these
that we need.
prisoners out early for bad behavior.
Oh, come on! You have got to be kidding me!
Oh, let's get a nice synergy there. Take out basically that entire squad. That was a solid connecting hit there. That was another good one. You couldn't really see it because I was tucked into a corner. That goes... Oh, I thought that would have taken you out, but it just knocked out your block.
Let's make this count.
Nice work
I am
there.
not doing this a third time. Sweet Christmas.
Ugh. I forgot how much these fights just seem to drag on. Best route through here, I know I've outlined it in a couple of previous videos, but it's I identify these as a number pad. So you go 9, 8, 7, and then you come around here to 6. And even if you get some team members stuck in a previous section, they will all teleport to you by the time you get down to the next section. And for that first puzzle section that looked like that, it's basically just walk into that first holding cell that opens up immediately there, and then you just hope that you can take off the barrier before all of your team members make it into there with you. Oops, that's got Kamala down at that first damage threshold. Miles isn't quite there yet, but he should be now. And then if Spider-Gwen stops using her falling aerial on us, we can get her down to that final damage threshold area as well.
Mysterio's mist must have mucked up their minds. We've got to remove these kids from play before they hurt anyone, including themselves.
Man, she really likes that falling aerial. These three have some crazy team synergy. Okay, there goes Spider-Gwen. And she's one of the ones that is more annoying in this section because she jumps around all over the place. Miles likes to play the role of crowd control with the electro webs that he'll throw down on the ground. And that ability works a lot different here than it does in a lot of the other sections. And Kamala is just about ready to go here. She just has such disjoint on her hitboxes with how far she reaches. And then it's Mysterio.
This is totally what oppression looks like. I demand a phone call, a lawyer,
And it doesn't matter what we do here. Like, I can be anywhere in this arena, but we'll get sent right back to the far side
You are deceiving yourselves.
before Mysterio comes around. Now let's see if we can get him. We were close to getting him staggered out before
Save some for me, bub.
Got your back.
And Thor needs to get in a little bit closer there as well.
This is no illusion, heroes. You're done. Just wait for my next trick. You won't believe your eyes.
Nice hit there. That's Mysterio out of the way.
It's not my fault you don't appreciate real.
And now we just see through the rest of this. That's a cutscene that I should have skipped. We're gonna get 3 character introductions here.
We doing this or what?
And
Hope you can use a big
now
hand.
it's just moving on to the next portions of these fights. We've got the Dr. Octopus fight up ahead, though I believe we've got the courtyard fight sequence. Yeah. However,
You heroes just won't
there's a couple of
cooperate.
tricks that you can use here.
If it wasn't so blasted annoying.
Let the battle begin.
Once the fight gets properly underway, because a lot of these characters that come in initially are just the faceless power grunts. And now we've got some of the mighty characters starting to show their faces. Which we can pick up this forklift and just dump it right on top of them, and that will render them vulnerable to our follow-ups. And let's throw this one at this guy. No synergy there, huh? Really could have used one. Come on, Thor, where did you end up? Why are you back here in the corner? Nice area coverage on that. Okay, let's get... Okay, why do these opponents keep pushing our characters into the corner? Don't like that. Okay, we're gonna finish you off with... Well, I thought we were gonna finish you off with the forklift. That takes out you, and then there's just a couple more. Nice stagger stun there from the electrical aspect of that attack. Stun you out, and then it's just finishing off this last guy.
Whatever's going down inside the tower, we'll help you stop it. We owe you
Grab
that
that energy a little bit for Thor, though now I think of it, we didn't need it because we were going to get topped off right here before getting onto the elevator and heading up to
Next stop, the Rap's main control room.
Doc Ock, which we've got a little moment here, so I'm going to take advantage of that and drink a little bit.
Manhattan becomes supervillain central.
Be honest, it kinda already is, right?
Staying hydrated really helps.
You guys live there.
Technically, I live in...
No, I would not have a way to get out of that fight. At least in that area. Though I think, looking back on it, the reason that the opponent got stuck was actually because of Thanos Ultimate's gravity well. I think that messed with the game's mechanic of getting opponents down to the field of battle, because he just was not jumping down voluntarily. So I think it was something that I accidentally did that bugged that out. Let's get the stun here. Excellent work. Move over to Wolverine and just burn through here with a bunch of damage. And we'll want to hold on to our extreme gauges here, because they do a lot better in the second half of this fight. That, and I'm not confident that we'd be able to replenish our gauges by the time we get into that second phase of this fight.
Master plan is foolproof. Fortunately, you are nothing but fools.
Fortunately, he doesn't charge quite as far as MODOK does, because that's what really makes the MODOK fight unbearable. Okay. There we go.
It cannot be.
And we're gonna run down to the elevator. We'll switch over to Thor for the rundown.
Heroes lash out with brute force against those who threaten you intellectually. You cannot lock one as brilliant as I away in a cage. Dr. Octopus must be free to reign supreme. You meddlesome morons are always getting in my way.
Looks like you're outright.
You will know my wrath. Victory will be mine.
Oh, come on. Stun out that arm. That arm's stunned now as well.
You insignificant fools! You insignificant fools!
Got that one. Nice work here. Let's get everyone into the center. Thor is too far away, so we're just gonna hope that the rest of these guys deal decent enough damage. And unfortunately, that was not quite it. And it would have been if Thor had not been away in that corner. I'm confident of that.
You will know my wrath.
There we go. And this last one. Okay, we'll just get a nice attack off there. And then this Green Goblin one that's coming up is tedious. All right. Just got to get some good pumpkin bomb throws, and we should do fairly well here.
It never ends well.
Skip that cutscene. There we go. Nice. Couple of follow-ups there. Now, despite the fact that his bombs are, at least for new game runs, the best way to stagger him out, they don't deal a lot of meaningful damage to him when he's stunned this way. Which is unfortunate.
Hey, that's my trick. Hands off, heroes. How many heroes does it take to stop one goblin? More than you.
That was not what I meant to do there. That bomb is going to detonate before we have a chance to throw it. Give us a few more gobby, and that's a nice stun there. That should be phase 2. It is. Good.
The kind of power I've always dreamed of. Power worthy of Norman Osborn.
I just missed that. And I just missed the pickup on that one. Okay, he's gonna run around the arena. Come on, give me some bombs to play with here. That's good. That is good. And we've got all 3 of us here. Or all 4 of us here. And it's not quite enough. I was ready to call time on that fight. Really? If you can hit him while he's there, it actually stuns him better than it otherwise would. So, we got through it at least, and Thor and Hulk are almost at level 10, which is where they get access to some of their better abilities.
Nice work.
And we've got a loading cutscene here again, so I don't know how I'm doing on time because I haven't yet compared my timestamps from the previous run that I was doing. And I didn't load in the current world records timestamps on this either. Though the run does pick up quite significantly once we get down to the timestamp that you can see here.
Good thing we're charged by the hour.
Destroying all mutants, because that's the first timestamp that we have.
Gang. I've got another lead to follow
where we
on.
get to
I'll meet
be
up with you a bit later, but I'll stay in touch just in case. Okay.
Using Nightcrawler and
Did I mention that the
Psylocke.
ancient ninja temple is guarded by actual ninjas? If not, I probably should have.
Just
I'm betting you've
move right
noticed this by
past
now,
these
but
guys.
the Hands ninjas have a tendency to appear out of nowhere. Iron Fist says it's some sort of magic mumbo-jumbo that lets them materialize out of thin air. See those
Nice little sneak into that cranny there.
The hand knows we're coming.
That was very
Stick to the
well
shadows or
timed.
You'll never make it to the temple. At least, not in one piece.
Stay sharp!
And then we could just follow this spotlight back. And it doesn't quite line up with this other one, but it's close enough. It's about as good as you can hope to be with these light puzzles without having a character with accelerated movement speed like Nightcrawler.
I'll be darned.
And here we go. Cap was lagging behind quite a lot there.
You gonna tell me how you got through all that without getting caught?
Nope. Gotta keep the mystery in our relationship alive somehow, babe.
And we'll just move right past all of these explosives.
I call from a client who pays a lot more than you. Get inside and meet up with the defenders. They'll help you handle it from here. I hope.
If we can throw these guys off this bridge, that'll help us a decent amount. Because it's less actual health that we need to work through.
Danny just texted me and told me he'll meet you at the door. Knowing him, you'll probably want to stand back.
Right, let's get through this last guy. And we are into the fight with Iron Fist here.
That was a good warm-up, but the real challenge still lies ahead.
We've got a battle to finish.
Cap is not the answer there. Though we will get access to his absolute defense, which will help shield us from some incoming damage. He really starts to shine when he gets his Avengers Assemble ability, but we are going to rotate him off the team before we have that unlocked. Actually, he might be worth keeping around for that if we pour enough resources into it, but I'm not willing to experiment with that today. Get a couple of abilities mingled in there. Nice strike that way. And then we've just got the 4 mighty opponents that are going to materialize in here. Oh, come on. really needed there.
They chose a violent path. They reaped what they sowed.
We're dragging a little bit, but it's okay. Here's Danny.
Training for this my whole life.
And let's start moving around some of these statues.
There are no other doors. Unless we find a way to open this gate, our journey ends here. I recognize this. It's the Azure Dragon of the East.
Now, there's not really a rhyme or reason as to which of these statues you should do in what order. I do prefer this method, mainly because this one, which I believe is the Black Turtle statue, it has the shortest path of the 3 statues that needs to be moved to its block, and you can just kind of leap down here. Now we're going to ignore these opponents that are here, but I am going to grab that XP cube that was hiding right there. And then we'll just breeze through this one as well. You can increase your resistance to some of these shots that come through by jumping. I don't like using flight a whole lot because it drains out of your energy points. But let's... Oh, that didn't quite get back to where I was hoping it would. And there's another XP cube there.
I hear more coming, like rats scurrying walls.
Now, the biggest hassle with this fight is the guys that hang out on the ring and throw blasts in, or bombs in at you. Okay, we've got the Thunderclap on standby, which helps with Hulk's reach out in front of him. Oh, that's the other thing you have to watch out for with these mighty enemies, is when they get down to a certain health threshold, they would rather take themselves out than let you do it. And they have a higher intensity explosive on standby for that. That will deal massive amounts of damage to you. Right here, when he goes into that animation, he's about to throw that bomb like that. And you do not want to get caught up in the middle of that. Where is this last guy? We're in the back corner. We're going to get healed up right here before we go into the electrifight, but I am going to make a slight deviation instead of leveling up after the electrifight to take a chance and do so beforehand. Yes, I know that we can access these, that's what I came here for, but I don't want to update. Actually, we might as well update the Thunder Strike. I would rather update the Thunderclap. We'll go ahead and update your Shield Dash. I'm not going to update your other one, though. Okay. That is going to be the team adjustments we make for now. And let's roll into here. Switch over to Wolverine, I believe. Oh, yeah. Wolverine's Adamantium Assault here, it is a game-changing ability. Because it hits very, very hard.
She's siphoning power from the hand mystics. If we take them out first, perhaps we can cut off our supply.
Unfortunately, I have used up the available energy points for Wolverine, but it's okay because we used him to get through one of those mystics. And Hulk is making a very quick work of this other one. Lock onto him. And here comes Elektra, which we just need to get her stunned out here. And as soon as we do, we're just going to get these extreme attacks off.
For me, bub.
And it burned through half of her health, which is good. Thought you were going to give me the thunderclap there. There we go. Not quite facing in the right direction. Didn't get the stun off there. That's not great. There's the lethal delay coming out of Elektra. That was not what I was hoping to use. That was. And let's skip through that cutscene. We don't have any other introductions to get through there. So we'll just want to have Hulk. No, it's not Hulk yet. He comes later. He comes after the Bullseye fight.
I will not be trapped in this accursed place any longer. There, an
Right
exit from
through
this infernal
here.
cage.
Away now, my friends.
Thor can cut a couple of corners here on the upper bit. Namely, right there, he can cut a corner. And then we'll just head into the Bullseye fight.
These weapons could prove quite useful in the right hands.
Actually, let's see if we can't get Wolverine on board for this one.
That's because
He is such a slippery little opponent here. Fortunately, his health pool is a lot smaller than the other opponents that we faced off with. So this fight goes pretty quick.
Do me a favor and die already. I have a reputation to maintain.
And he's got a dual explosion attack here. Get him. Well, that was not the right way to throw that. That was better. Alright, Cap, can you... Nope, you're not going to. There we go. I've got extreme attacks online, but the Kingpin fight is the next big one here. And I really want to make sure that I've got those available for that. There we go. That's Bullseye off the table. And Thor's another good one to use here because he can double back and cut another corner, I believe. There we go. Didn't know he could fit back through there, but I'm glad he can. And then Hulk is one of the de facto best characters to use here. because you'll want to place these statues not on the triggers, but basically on top of them to the point where they only have a minor adjustment needed to push them into place, and Hulk will just move through the opponents that show up as soon as these statues are clicked into where they need to be. Basically. There are a couple of exceptions to that. And then, during this little cutscene where the door opens, you are free to switch characters. And so we'll switch to Thor to get out of that chaos that's down there on the ground floor. And then once we are up here, we'll just fly right above all of these guys too.
I do my best fighting in hallways.
Yeah, but I prefer walls I can use to my advantage, not ones I can kick straight through.
Right there. And now we are on to the Kingpin fight, which should be... yeah, it'll easily be before sub-hour. Provided that I don't royally mess anything up, that is.
From the gutters of Hell's Kitchen to the top of the world.
This guy just throwing all of his tax deductions at me and his furniture that he's recently furnished here. At least I'd assume that he does laundering through taxes, because that's a very easy thing to do here. Well, fortunately we got synergy off right before he recovered there. That's the biggest thing with this, is like early game fights, you don't get to stagger out your opponents to get you into the second phase of the fight. The friendly difficulty, I mean, that's all they ask you to do, is you get into that threshold, and it's fine. I would have, yeah, that's something that I try to keep smarter, or try working smarter, not harder, and Kingpin certainly would do that as well.
Very hostile takeover.
Alright. Okay, we've got pillars swinging around here. And we've got 3 of them. I don't know where Wolverine ended up. He's over here entertaining some of the other grunts, but he'll move in, kind of. Ooh. Oh, come on. If I would have gotten off that attack there. Oh, for you're in a bad spot, but that is an energy refill, or a health refill right there. There we are. That is the Kingpin fight out of the way as well. And now it's just on to Avengers Tower through Jessica here. Some cutscenes to skip through there. And another one right there. And now we've got another loading screen. Let's see if I can get some of these pearls out of here. That's more like it. Alright, so we've got through the Shadowland figures here. Avengers has 4 different tasks to go through. It's not perfect. There are sections where it is. But there's still some improvement that I need to do there. The current record, that was not who I talked to. The current record for New Game Plus has much closer to frame perfect skips. Because there are instances where my frames still pop in, at least for a little bit.
Access the tower's operating system either, Iron Man.
Alright, let's get Hulk back out again. Because just like those statues, he can basically ignore most of the attacks. That dash attack that was right there is not one of them. But he can ignore a lot of the other attacks that these drones like to throw out. Which it is kind of funny to have Hulk, you know, with his massive fingers entering the override code into this tiny virtual keyboard. I mean, no doubt that Banner could do it, but this is not the Professor Hulk version of Hulk that we're seeing here.
We continued Vision's research on the ISO 8. I think you're gonna like.
We're gonna switch over to Thor just a bit. Keep moving on. We'll switch over to Hulk once these characters are in here.
Making humanity obsolete. Prepare to be removed.
Oh yeah, he just missed me because I don't think he was actually targeting Hulk there. Okay, we ignore that box right there. The one thing that I've seen out of this section of the game in one of the other runs, it's the co-op for New Game Plus. They used Loki and Thor as players 1 and 2 and the controlled players for that run, which Loki and Thor are not bad characters, but the big mistake that they made was they were flying everywhere in between sections, and flight does not reduce, or it does not make you travel any faster. And so because they were flying everywhere, when they would get into a skirmish, they didn't have any energy points available for them, which is incredibly suboptimal. And I get that it's kind of cool that they can fly around and stuff, but it doesn't come with any speed boosts, and you are greatly hindering yourself by the time you actually get into a combat section. Okay, we're gonna get some laser blasts coming in here. A little serpentine motion should give us the edge and not taking damage there. And it's perfect. Ah, not quite. They caught up with me. Let's move Hulk through this little hexagon puzzle. And right on. See, most other opponents, there's that double laser blast that comes from these little Ultron drones here. Most other characters that are playable will be buffeted away by that dual blast at the end of the combo. Hulk and other heavier characters are not. So that was the idea that I had there, Thor. You just beat me to the punch a little bit. Ooh, nice hit there. And we got an energy refill. Oh, come on, dude. Why are you backpedaling so much?
Sentries have never seen this alive. Vision, if you're not too busy, you might want to scan these guys for abnormal energy readings.
Alright, let's get Wolverine out here. Oh, there's no... There's a mighty guy. Because this attack just shreds through these opponents if you're able to get it out. And then you can chain that falling aerial on top of it, which just increases your damage output. I kind of wish that like certain characters had unique animations against these drones in particular, like because they're made out of metal. I think that it would be really cool if like they dismembered Ultron bots. Like they're robots, so it's not gory or anything else. But just have them like fall apart, especially if you're using characters like Wolverine that have the ability to take them out. Try back smart. Backed yourself up.
That was tougher than I expected.
Well, I just run my mouth a lot of the time, and it happens to work out there.
This area of the tower is now secure. Please continue to the next interface terminal at once.
Just a lot of things that I've learned over the almost 2 years that this game's been out, and I've been playing it consistently ever since it launched. This was the launch, or the game that essentially launched my YouTube channel. Alright, let's get Hulk out here. However, it still boops us back into that hallway, and I've had it occasionally, typically when you're running Nightcrawler or someone faster, where you still kind of get sucked back into that. Now, the key here that I just messed up is you can follow loosely the area where the drones are pre-placed throughout this maze, especially because they don't interact with you until you get closer to them, and that will kind of lead you to your destination. But right like that, we'll zip around that edge, get to the last terminal down here. But see, right there, that slam attack, it would have knocked Captain America, Wolverine, Thor, it would have knocked anyone else off that terminal, but Hulk is just so bulky and has a I do not care attitude to the point where he was completely fine. And the biggest issue that I have here is occasionally you'll have opponents that burst these canisters over here on the right, and they are filled with ice, so you can get frozen here. But if you get frozen yourself, or stuck in there, you can throw those and freeze those opponents into place. We're going to get healed up right around the corner here. And then, oh, I completely missed the XP after the hex puzzle and the cargo bay there. Well, hopefully that doesn't break anything. But here we are at the Ultron fight. And we've got a nice beefy hit. Oh, he dodged out of the way there.
But my artificial mind was limited by inferior programming. But at long last, the Mind Stone has unlocked
Get over here. Get over here.
processing potential.
Dang it. Didn't get the stagger, which is unfortunate. Okay, I guess they were taking on an opponent down that way, and that helped him out. Got us to level 14. No! Let's get Cap over here so we can hopefully get a stagger, but we did not. And yes, Hulk is definitely the strongest there is, and that's what makes him awesome for a lot of these little nuanced challenges here. Now, Ultron is actually a lot more vulnerable while he's in that attack. However, you just don't have a whole lot of opportunity to attack into him because he's got that rotating hitbox that goes around a couple of laps around him.
But you fight as if you still have a future.
And nice little attack there. Get away from his energy beam. Of course, Hulk is turned around in the wrong direction for when I wanted him to use his thunderclap. What? There we go. That was what I needed out of him. And we'll get that extreme attack off next time we have him staggered. That gets him into his last phase there.
I have analyzed every possible outcome and prepared contingencies.
I didn't quite
Today,
make it out of that. So we've got the confusion here. There's a large open section back this way, and now we're cured of the confusion because of passage of time. Oh dear. There we go. And let's get right on top of him. I don't know if that's going to quite do it. It's not, but Cap's got some energy points that we can use up here. There we go. There's the Ultron fight at 110 even. Look at that split right there. Doesn't get much better than that. Now, here we've got a bit of a problem because Cap is really good here, but he doesn't have any energy points available. So we're going to have to rely on characters like Thor, who can hammer throw these opponents over the edge. Because that is by far the best way of getting rid of a lot of these opponents is environmental takedowns. Okay, we've got a big Ultimo Beam coming in here and roll. Excellent work. Oh, he's priming another one. You can tell because his eyes glow just before he's about to unleash that attack. Fortunately for us, it does leave his own, or these own bots, vulnerable to these attacks. So you can use it to your advantage. And now it's just up to the top of the tower. Even splits are wonderful.
With the Mind Stone and Ultima both
which makes me wonder if, as we saw at the beginning of the run here, if that time of 3 hours 37 is right on the dot as it insinuates. Yes, I know Hawkeye's here, and we're not touching him because he is the worst, well, not the worst, but one of the worst characters to use in a speedrun. Dear... no, just no.
Hate to bring it to you, Viz, but Ultimo is nearly invulnerable. Any weapons we have won't work against him. I am more interested in defending than Ultimo.
This is the part of the fight that is going to drag, because I don't have the setup that I've been playing around with to make this fight go by faster. Because I do not have access to any of the ISOs that make that possible.
Your time will come, Avengers.
Wolverine. Let's get you on that stream guy there. We're at level 15, which is good because that gives us access to a couple of new abilities.
ISO 8's proximity to the Mind Stone should enhance my processing power exponentially.
Does that mean you can shut Ultimo down?
Eventually. But first, I will have to collect data from the fallen sentries to
normally here, and this is for the New Game Plus run, you'll want to charge Ultron, or not Ultron, Thanos' gravity wave right here as Ultimo starts that head turn, because you can then just have all of these opponents lined up and ready for you in the same spot at the front of this elevator. And that is one drastic improvement that can be made from things previously. Let's go. And slam right down that way. Now let's just up to the top of this tower to finish some things out.
Can remotely lower Ultimo's defenses?
Affirmative. We may not be able to damage him physically, but we can disrupt Ultron's control signal.
Weapons adjusted to
I
target
don't think
Ultron's
that
core
these
program.
upgrade our increase our energy points while we're attacking into them, but I haven't kept an eye on it to know for certain.
Ultimo's defenses. Target Ultimo now.
It does not, but your energy points do passively regenerate over time.
Thanks for the backup.
Yeah, we can always get through this first wave
Ultron's first firewall
in this
has been
difficulty.
breached.
It's the other ones that really make things
We'll need to collect more
interesting.
data and search for another entry point into his system.
I'm in huge trouble here.
There we are, mighty enemy down.
Whoa, easy there, big guy.
Oh, there's another guy hanging out over here on the ledge.
Defense is successfully neutralized. Ultron is vulnerable once
This is
again.
where a bunch of the Ultron sentries come in and they can knock you off of the turret. Which, if you roll away, again, it's similar to the Sandman fight, where you increase your chance of recovery and dealing better damage.
Firewall has been breached.
You will not corrupt my system again, my child. Surrender, and I will use the stone to permanently upgrade your minds.
There we go.
Hits like that make me glad I'm not one of the bad guys. Oh no, I think I just stepped on a taxi.
Ant-Man has some very witty banter in this section. Nice hit there. Got some ISO that's coming through as well, which I don't know what rating these ones have off the top of my head, but we will be taking a moment to upgrade that right here after the end of this section before we take off towards the Xavier Institute. Actually, no, we'll just go over to the Xavier Institute, unlock the characters, and then make the last adjustments we need.
Mechanical life is mine to command, and mankind will be next.
Get on the turrets, guys. That's the other thing. Sometimes your computers or teammates are just dumb, and they don't start attacking into Ultimo when you really need them to. I'm just hoping that this doesn't turn into a 5-cycle fight, because on the higher difficulties it is liable to do so. Okay, we're going to unleash these extreme attacks in 4 different quadrants to make sure that we are evenly distributing the carnage that goes out from them and allows us to get through this fight a little bit faster. Nice hit there on the mighty enemy. There's still 2 more hanging out over this way. Wolverine. Nice hit there. Nice hit there as well. And let's mount these cannons and hope this is it for the Ultima fight. It looks like we're on pace to do it. Moving the aiming reticle doesn't do anything for us, but looks cool, I guess. That's such a low bar. That was a frame-perfect cutscene skip. I will take credit for that one, because it genuinely was. Talk to Vision. Gosh. That was not quite, but it was about as close to that as you can get. Okay. Hulk now has his unstoppable charge ability, which is really good for the Surtur fight that comes up later. So I lean very heavily into ranking that one up because it's best to have that one as buffed up as you possibly can. Alright, let's move past these Sentinels, because a lot of people don't recognize that these are optional fights. You can fight them for the experience if you really want to, but they are completely optional. And then, another thing that's frequently overlooked is you can grab Hulk, pick up that car, and use that to throw into this Sentinel here. And that gives you an edge up when it comes to getting these cores that you can then rinse and repeat against the other Sentinels that continue to come through this section of the fight.
That's what I do best, Cyclops.
You just gotta really be sure that you do not miss any of these core throws. Because otherwise, you've got to spend time grinding that back up, and that is not a pretty picture. I like to use this first core on the blue Sentinel. The reason behind that is these guys have electrical themed attacks, which are not great, because if your teammates get caught up in them, then that will cause you to have to wait for them to recover, and that's not ideal. The only character that really has any sort of resistance to that is Thanos Infinite, and surprise, he's not a character that you can use in this run. Alright, let's get that throw over there. He was already sitting pretty low. And this might be enough to one-shot this Sentinel. If not, it gets us very close. Okay, we're going to switch Psylocke and a Nightcrawler onto our team here. Yeah, I know about the ISO 8. Yeah, I'm not going to do that quite yet, because I need to hero select first. And we're going to switch Psylocke and Nightcrawler onto the team. This is where the movement portion of the run really picks up. We're then going to come over here. We're going to use the XP cubes that we've picked up so far on Thor or Hulk. And then we are going to level up this unstoppable charge as far as we can take it. We will come back and level that up more. The Katana Slash needs to be fully upgraded for Psylocke. We're going to upgrade the Legendary Tail, except for we're not going to upgrade it all the way because I don't have the ability orb that I needed for it. And we're going to upgrade Mjolnir's Might as well. Cool. The last thing that we will do is actually still in this team menu. We will want to give... Yeah, we'll increase your energy. You get the strength ISO. You can have this one and this one. I guess you can have this strength one. What's this red one? That's vitality. Yeah, we'll put that one on you.
They cracked the code on those anomalies, Captain.
this is, again, where things start to move a lot faster because of Nightcrawler's increased movement speed. This is where I start feeling more in my element. That was a frame-perfect skip there. So I do have some of them, but there's a lot of them that I'm missing. A lot of them. Now, Psylocke has a similar ability that Wolverine does with his Adamantium Assault, with that Psionic Blast, or that Psionic Uppercut that she does. Where she can get the synergy, and then she can get a falling aerial out of it. Oh, we got some of these cores that we can throw. Come on, Thor. Fortunately, we don't have another core that we can throw out just yet. Did he stomp on it and destroy it? Something you could do. I mean, it makes sense. Oh no, it's right there. It's just trapped on this one. Nightcrawler. The only one that I have right here that has the means to lay out an attack like that. There we go. Okay, now we throw this fight. That is the strategy here, is you throw this fight. And I think it's best to have Thor be the sacrificial lamb here, because he is at the lowest rank and health and all that other stuff. And you only need one character to go down here, though we will get to a point in this run where there are all characters that need to go down, and when I say a point in this run, it's going to be in about 20 minutes. Hopefully 15 if everything goes ideal.
The Juggernaut's inertia is impossible to diminish. He's gonna bring down the whole flippin' mansion.
Clean up Annihilix. I will destroy you.
Okay, we don't have a lot to do here with the map that I've got. I got stuck in the corner there for a brief second.
Who wants pizza?
But the next major improvement point that we have is in the Dark Dimension before we go into the fight against Dormammu. Though I might take it before that, depending on when how my team is looking after probably the Loki fight. Excellent work there. Let's get Psylocke over here. Recovered from the electrical canisters that erupted on her. Next time we stun him, we'll go ahead and unleash our extreme attacks.
Any room for me?
Because that should get us at least decently through that fight. I was hoping it would have done more than that. Come on. That was not the button I hit, and now we've got his ricochet attack, which is a bit of a time loss. But we've got him stunned out. And that's the Juggernaut fight, and that's ahead of an hour 30 minutes, which isn't bad by any means.
Quick, this way.
Here we go. I think we get replenished before the Danger Room fight takes place up here.
You think you cannot be stopped, Tovarish?
Unskippable cutscene here.
Allow me to prove you wrong.
There's not a lot of them, but there are a couple. And that is the point of one of them. If you keep your eye on that mini-map up in the top corner, you can get a better feel for the obstacles and such that are going to come up, and how to navigate the map at the very least. So that's helpful. I do like how this section teases an upcoming section of the game in the form of Wakanda.
They can still hurt us.
They don't call it the danger room for nothing.
Nice little stagger on this guy here. And now our team is finally looking better in terms of the standalone combat that we throw out against these opponents. Ooh, nice little chain on the 4 of those guys all at once. And Thor is not only desynced in terms of the levels, but he's also desynced in terms of when he actually levels up as well. Hulk has his final ability, which I don't use a whole lot, but it's good enough. I don't particularly care for this particular section of the Danger Room because I don't particularly care for the floor hazards. I like it when the NPC, or when the, not the NPCs, but the computer members of our team use abilities that I've ranked up, because those are the strongest ones for them to use, and it means that they slaughter through a bunch of these opponents a lot quicker. There we go. It's the last of that guy. And now we just have the Hell Simulator. Ooh, solid strike on those guys. Nice strike there.
The threat level is escalating quite rapidly. You think this is
nice work there. Loving Deadpool's banter, as always.
What now?
Solid connection onto that guy. We didn't quite get the damage I was hoping for on that. But what we were needing it for, at the very least. And now we're in the clear for the next section, which is not a fight that we throw, but we are getting closer to that.
Anyone care to confess this?
If you double back the other way in that hallway, you can find Cerebro, and there's some loot there, but it's not loot that I'm interested in. Don't get hung up on that wall, Kurt. There's a frame-perfect cutscene skip. Let's get sidelined.
Any
Let's get a couple of those extreme attacks off here. It's not going to finish off Magneto by any means, but it will get a nice chunk of damage in on him. He's got a gravity well on that heavy attack he throws out. Now for this attack, you'll want to try and take out these Sentinels before they explode, because they will drop cores that are highly useful against Magneto. He's got a large attack. Didn't quite get the stagger there either, which is problematic, but if we get a nice attack there, we can grab this cord, which we just missed, and that makes me a bit upset.
What I've been seeking.
I don't think that's going to be quite enough, especially because he recovered. But it's minuscule damage again there. Nice stagger there. And that's the Magneto fight. One more fight section we need to get through here before we throw a few rounds, because that's the optimal strategy in the newer game difficulties. Because even if you were to spend the time to fight off or fight Proxima and Corvus, it's just so inefficient in terms of your time invested. Nice little attack there. She's out of energy to get that synergy off. But, you know, if it isn't, it's Thor. Nice attack there as well.
The stones will be ours before the rest of the Black Order interrupts.
Couple of chained abilities there. It might be possible on New Game, like from an early game, but it's a beast of a fight, and you've got to be playing perfect, like the entire time, for it to even be a negotiable possibility. That might be a challenge video that I do on the YouTube channel later on down the road, to see if it is something that's feasible.
100 ugly aliens down, 2 more to go.
It's a very, very chaotic fight, especially against Corvus. You've just got to have someone that can avoid these attacks in particular. Nice, we got 2 team members down very quickly. That third one went down quite fast as well. And there's the fourth. Okay, this time I want to try and keep Nightcrawler alive until the very end, because if Nightcrawler is the last one alive, then he will be the one that I have control over when we revive, which is ideal for the runaway sequence that happens right here. It is not meant to be a possible fight. The easiest thing to do is definitely run. take the fall and then run away as fast as possible.
If they catch us, we don't stand a chance.
But
We shall bring Thanos the stones.
if you play near perfect and or use characters that have some element of invulnerability, such as Captain America and his absolute defense and other things, you can tactfully play through it, but it is not fun by any means. There we go. We're actually making quite decent time here. I'd say we're about halfway in. I'm going to initially set a goal to be at the Loki fight by the 2-hour mark. I think that's reasonably achievable, but we'll assess where we're at by the time we get there.
Their only instincts are to defend this dimension and to conquer others.
Hey,
We've got to stop these beasties before they overflow into our reality.
Oh, come on. That was not the synergy that I wanted to use. This one was. Nice with a bunch of those enemies trapped away in that corner. One more of them hanging out back here. Nightcrawler's trying to make some pretty quick work of him.
Tea, anyone?
Magic.
And yeah, again, we have these character introductions that throw off my flow a little bit.
Even for the dark dimension.
Be on the lookout for anything unusual in that region.
Another rift. It's as if the fabric between dimensional planes is beginning to shred. We can't let the mindless ones cross to the other side.
And we've got another little
This artifact is releasing powerful arcane energy. Could it have something to do with the rifts?
object. We've got to hack and slash through there.
The magic from this
It doesn't go through quite as quick on some of the other difficulties I've played through, but again, I typically have access to a higher level of characters. Actually, we're going to switch over to Thor here. I guess he can just fly right up to that obstacle. Well, most people can't. However, the one downside here is that he does less damage to it with his abilities because it's electric.
Of course, the magical signature of
That's one of the lesser known features of these
with a similarly colored rift.
or these artifacts is they do have elemental attributes to them. And if your attacks have elemental attributes to them that are identical, or if they match up, then
These relics come in so many colors.
it
Goes with my outfit.
doesn't go well for you. And I learned that the hard way on a couple of different runs. I don't know that I'm the Wikipedia page, but maybe I should write it
This rift is different.
to share what I do know and help
It is beyond the point where smashing some trinket
start some of the initial conversation on some of that stuff. Let's get Thor over here on this. He can work well against the fire and ice ones. And then let's get Psylocke over to the electric one that's over here. Unfortunately, I just have to use the abilities on their own. because I can't get synergy attacks when they're up that high.
Will be needed to mend this fracture. I will have to handle this one myself.
Alright, Scarlet Witch. Nice work on that. She's integral to the plot, but she is such an underwhelming character. There's a lot of things with her kit that would need to be improved. And I get that she's meant to be more of a support class type hero by having a heal factor or a healing ability to help buff up the team and other stuff, but I feel like that's part of her biggest downfall as a character, is wasting a slot like that on a slot that serves to boost your team's health when there's already so many abilities that help with that so much better. I mean, there's skill tree items that allow you to recuperate health, there's ISO that you can equip that increase the frequency of health pool drops. Like, there's just a lot that can be done that works so much better than what Scarlet Witch is capable of doing with her minuscule healing. That's, I don't know. If they were to revisit this game and rework any character or any characters, my highest request would be Scarlet Witch, just because there's so much more that she should be capable of because she's relegated to a support type class. Her power potential is just stripped away from her. That guy's down, and we've just got this last one, who, this hammer throw, should be the rest of it. And it doesn't matter what we do here, because we get a refresh. And then we'll just continue through into the next section. Take the high road there into this
All
zone.
of these rifts lead to different dimensions. We have to seal them shut before the realities converge.
There we go. What is it with these two? Why are they not? Okay. There we go, right through the teleporter there, and Thor is actually going to be better for getting us up here, because he can avoid a lot of those floor hazards and jumps that Nightcrawler just isn't quite adept for, and I prematurely pulled the trigger on that cutscene skip.
Let the dark magic of this dimension consume you.
Whoa, what was that roll, Doctor Strange? Wow! He rolled way far away. Bolts of Baltac, get away from that fairly easily. Get out of that. Oh. Rolled around that right into where the beam ended up going anyway. Dang it.
But Dormammu will answer your call.
Should not be this low going into the second half of this fight, because that fight is not great. I'm particularly worried about Psylocke here because she is on the brink of death.
To make you mine, Strange. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, that was not the synergy I wanted. And as I feared, Psylocke has gone down. and Nightcrawler. Psylocke is one of my primary damage dealers, so that's particularly not good. Oh, no. And there goes my last team revive with needing to get Hulk back on his feet. Combat rolling around him. It's around him. Yes, this is one of the most difficult new game fights, and it doesn't exactly help that we are playing on a higher difficulty at the moment. Ooh, nice. This ability, Flames of the Faultine merged with the Bolts of Ballback, is particularly unrelenting. Oh, Thor's down, which we expected was going to happen because he was sitting very, very low. Doesn't bode well that the current character at the highest health for me is my traversal. There we go. That's the Doctor Strange fight. Yes, computer robots, I am back at Ultimate Alliance 3. And this time we are going after the new game Mighty Record.
I owe you an apology for all of that unpleasantness.
Shadow of Doom added to the world record attempt.
I will.
I will see if Shadow of Doom is available to me right off the bat. I might play through it for fun after the run, but it is not considered a portion of the run itself. And it actually isn't on the leaderboards, which it's kind of difficult to gauge how you would place it. Like, it's technically a New Game Plus run, but it would need to be its own category, and then you'd have to have that whole discussion of can you or do you include a category for with Thanos Infinite, since that's the quest that you technically do to unlock Thanos Infinite, or you just have the one category of get through the story as fast as you can under any circumstances. I mean, there's just a lot to unpack with that. But I can message the moderator of the leaderboard, to the speedrun leaderboards, and see what they have to say about it. Artwork, yay, that's fun, I guess. Yeah, one category would probably be cleanest for sure. It would probably fit best under a subcategory, in all honesty. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's good. That is really, really good. Because I wasn't sure how those energy crystals were going to be with these artifacts. All of these artifacts in this first section, completely optional. You do not have to do them at all, because this is the section that you need to get through in order to get into the final section. And I need to switch to a different character now, because Kurt went down. It's okay, he'll revive up before the next little section here. And as soon as I go through this portal, I'll have the other characters warp to me as well. Oh, looks like somebody went ahead and took care of reviving him. Which actually is kind of nice, because his ability is one of the better ones amongst my team to take on these artifacts. Alright. Normally, you would have to go back through the portals to get back up there, but since Thor has the capability of flight, we can just fly back up to that pedestal as well, which is one of the main reasons that I really wanted to keep him on the team for this run. But yeah, I'll have to message Jeff the Glitched or FBI Michael Scarn and see if we can get those categories added. I know FBI Michael Scarn is a lot busier because he does a lot of other speedrun content, particularly for Miles Morales and Devil May Cry 5. But he's involved to some degree still. Mainly in the area of approving runs, because my most recent run that I submitted for approval was approved through him. Okay. I do not like these illusions in this fight. It's not always worth taking the time to fight them. There we go. Nice little attack into him there. That was not particularly what I was hoping for. Alright, Psylocke. Let's see if you can finish him off here. Ooh, that was not a great attack to get caught up in the middle of. Looks like the illusions are back. Through him here. Come on, guys. He's so close. And yet, I cannot seem to finish him off. That's it. Alright, my initial gut reaction was about spot on with that prediction. And now we've just got to get into the Dormammu fight.
Well, that was certainly unusual. Anyone know what that was all about?
Just got to employ evasion strategies to get these crystals charged up.
Dormammu's shield must be broken. We can absorb their attacks with the crystals and redirect the energy at the barrier. We'll need more crystals to destroy the barrier.
That, thank you.
Luckily, the mindless ones are bringing them right to us. Fantastic. The barrier is beginning to weaken.
That's a charge. charge attacks. I want the energy ones. Let's create a bit of room here. And then I'm going to stay up on this ledge. And just by nature of how the mindless one works, they will attack into me. Yeah, that one's not incredibly intuitive in terms of how it works, so I can see where it would be a bit of a headache. We're going to do a bit of character level up here. Oh, it wants me to investigate the Infinity Trials, but I'm not going to do anything with them. Come on. Nope, nope. Back out, back out, back out. That was not what I wanted. I wanted the team. Because we've got to level up the unstoppable charge the rest of the way. We've got to level up. Oh, I don't have the energy points. Actually. Haha. That'll give me the point that I need to level up Mjolnir's might. There we are. And then let's go ahead and have a look at these, because I've got more crystals that I can put in here. Restore. Ooh, yes, please. Yeah, we don't want to have any of those that heavy attack damage, because we use that quite a bit with Hulk.
You want to back into my mask about now?
Alright, we're going to keep away from these energy blasts as best we can. Actually, they're not energy blasts because they don't charge up these crystals here.
I have Dormammu, and he is about to extinguish your flame once and for all.
Oh, thank you.
I'm catching it.
Some more of these going off here. I don't know where Thor ended up, but we're going to want to attack into him. And then we will use Hulk's little unstoppable charge here. I also really need to... I haven't looked at the skill tree at all yet, which I'm going to have to do as soon as I get out of here. That is where I could definitely have been saving time this round. There we go. Supercharge that crystal. Okay, I guess we don't have enough energy for that. Okay, we've got an energy over crystal over there that's about to detonate. But let's get some more of these charged up here.
We're not doing any damage. Use the crystals to absorb his beams and create an opening for attack.
Alright, there's one. There's two. And unfortunately, I don't have another one at the ready, but I do now. I really needed it to be ready by the time Dormammu threw out that one. Yeah, if there were a I've come to bargain input, that would make this fight a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Dormammu is always the victor, no matter the reality.
I mean, that is the timestamp name that I chose for this. That'll charge us up quite nicely from those two. Except he did his slam and sweep move, which is never fun. Oh, does he not conjure up another barrier? I could have sworn that he did.
This is my domain. None shall be able to defeat me here.
Okay, he has charged up that barrier again. He went down, Nightcrawler, that's fine. Come on, take this guy out so I can get a crystal in my hand for this blast that he's about to unleash. Full protection there. And then, you know what? We are just going to roll over here.
Any room for me?
We're going to see if we can get any meaningful sort of damage in on him. Doesn't look like we did, which is unfortunate. On a lower difficulty, that might have worked out quite nicely, actually. But that's as close to a come to bargain input as I'm going to get, I think. Alright, we're going to interact with this shield here because I have been... Yeah, I know you want me to modify ISO 8, but I'm not going to. I am going to look at the alliance enhancements because I've been meaning and needing to do that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thanks. We're going to grab all of these strength ones. Yeah. Heavy attack damage by 3, that's fine. That one's okay, but I don't necessarily need that one as much. However, I will take this one to get to this one. And that one, strength by 150. That's a really good one to have. Ooh, we are going to be cooking with gas now. Don't quite have enough for that one, but we'll get back to that later. And we will be able to get that last one and expand into the energy portion of that tree quite a bit more. Let's see here. Get up to Medusa, talk with her. And then we've got the Gorgon section here.
Has all of Adelon gone mad?
Ooh, nice strike there. Guy taking it out. Just got to get this other guy real quick. And everything, right?
Hurry. We must deliver him to the infirmary at once. If we don't get Gorgon some help fast, he's not going to make it.
There we go. And the chat with Thane went about as well as you'd expect. I really like doing that one when I have Thanos on the team, because he's like got this beef with his father, and then it like just doesn't even appear as if that beef exists.
I should have known you were behind this, Maximus.
It's funny to me.
Dare betray our people.
I am nothing if not predictable. Isn't that right, brother?
Ooh, that was a solid ability there. Followed up by another one that was quite well also. That one not so much, but it got through the remainder of that mighty enemy there. I don't know if he's... Oh, there's two of them back here still. Oh, of course, the last one's a mighty guy. There we go. 215, that's a good point to be through this Maximus fight. Especially because all of this stuff is optional. So we can just zip right past this entire squadron of primitives.
This isn't the first time Maximus has tried to claim the throne from his brother. Not even close. The guy's a brilliant inventor, but he's never been quite right in the head. Still, not or not, he is
Okay, you guys are close enough to the point where I can get a synergy attack off, right? There we go. That's what we were looking for. Except for Maximus doesn't remain stunned for very long at all, which is never great. Nice synergy attack there. Not quite enough to get him into phase 2, but after that ability expires, it will be. He always teleports back up to the top of the arena as well. Oh, that didn't stun you? Really? There we go. That's what I was looking for. Good stun there. Oh, that's a large particle beam there. Nice attack that way. Still not quite enough to get into that final trigger. And there we go. Now, here, if you can, or if he's low enough, you can actually get there and stun him out of that. If not, you know, being with Thane here is going to be your best option because he will shield you from the adverse effects of that attack.
Any room for me?
Okay, let's get Thor over here, and Hulk's right there too. That was not great by terms of extreme attack detonations, but it certainly worked for what we were using it for, I suppose. Ooh, get away from that particle beam. He uses that gravity wall occasionally. This is what I'm talking about. He's very low right here, and so attacking into him right there will prompt him out of that attack, and then he doesn't go back into it because he already initiated the animation for it. So you've got a decent cooldown on that before you have to worry about the attack being used again. There we go. Ooh, nice. Ooh, get him, get him, get him. There we go. Sheesh.
Curse you.
Is it clear now?
Okay, there's
who
no
wears the
cutscene
crown?
after this section, so we can just move right on in to the Wakanda portion. We've got this voice line that repeats twice. I always found that a little bit weird. It only repeats if you let that cutscene play through, though, which we are not going to. Come on, there's only a little bit left in here. There we go. Set that off to the side. We're actually doing really, really well, time-wise. And there's a bunch of time saves here in Wakanda if you know how to do them.
These are the coordinates Bucky transmitted.
Which I do.
We've got company. AIM must have followed Bucky here.
You're getting close to another one of those rifts.
It's an ambush. AIM must have expected us.
Group them all up there in the corner and then just lay into them. Excellent synergy attack there. Right. Pummel that guy. Only a few of these guys left. However, this is where some of my least favorite opponents in the game are brought into play. I really hate the green aim soldiers because they discourage retaliation with their area of effect fields. Actually, that's not going to help us. The snipers are bad too. They don't come into play until much later
My fury will rain down upon you.
in this portion, but they are bad as well. Especially in new game runs, because they will just annihilate any of your team members in the get-go. I do have a strategy for dealing with them that's been decently useful. Ooh, that was not the greatest thing to get hit by. Get clapped! Thunderclap specifically. Nice work there. I love it when those synergies just wipe those team members. Storm is a nice ally, or fifth ally to have here. But she's not worth the character swap, unfortunately. You're done. We've only got 6 more of these guys. One's a mighty guy hanging out over here. There we go. Oh, there's a couple of the mighty guys hanging out. Looks like the last of them is right over here. And then we'll switch back over to Nightcrawler to get through this next section. This is where some of the time saves really start to come into play. We only have one more of these cutscenes with Black Panther that comes in at the bottom side of Wakanda after we've taken the fall into the pit.
That's part of a Quinjet. Good thing the Winter Soldier.
One of the time saves that you can do here is just ignoring all of these opponents. I actually think that if I would have used Thor, I could have just flown up onto this ledge. However, I think Nightcrawler is better equipped for that because then you can just move right on past here. And then the other time save is actually right in here as well. Because what you can do is you can come up here, you can throw one of those there, pick that up, throw that one there, and then you throw another one in practically the same spot. There we go. You saw how that took out the terminal instead of having to layer into it attacking? So that's a huge time save. Unfortunately, the rockets seem to prioritize those turrets because that's what they are intended for. And then here's bottom side of Wakanda, where we are introduced to the last character, that being Black Panther. He's very powerful, but this late in the run, he's not worth the character swap. I really like him, though. I really like using him. Let's see. We can be to Claw before 2:30. 2 hours, 30 minutes. The MODOK fight I really hate, and I'm not looking forward to it in this run in particular. No freezes happening, that's good. Let's get through that cutscene. And that's the last character intro, so no more time consumed by those, which is good. And then this first drop-off is completely optional in terms of the opponents that are down here at the bottom, so you can just whiz past them. And then look, Skull Spidey, it's your favorite opponents. This is the first place that they show up and ruin life.
Hold them, my sisters. May Bast guide our hands.
Okay, normally I try going for the ones that are up on the cliffs first, but because I've had my characters absolutely annihilated by these lower guys before, we'll take them out first, then we'll get on this platform. Or we'll attempt to.
My tale's just begun.
Haha. And then I'm gonna come back this way and do the same thing, but to these guys.
My tale's just begun.
And no more snipers. Now I just double back, slashing through these opponents wherever I can come across them. My team's been doing decently well at keeping up with them on their way up here. Couldn't get a synergy off on that thunderclap, but charging one up was decently effective as well. There we go. This guy. One more right here, and then there's one last guy hanging out somewhere. Odds are he's back up here near the gate. And he is! Unfortunately, that Dora Milaje was not doing well enough to take him out. But let's move through this next segment. We get a nice little refresh. A couple more snipers we have to deal with here. But
I would gladly give my life for my king.
That will not be necessary. Not today.
I think there's only one other one. He's hanging out back this way. I do like focusing them down initially because they are very problematic. Alright, where's Thor? That was not what I meant to do. Can I just send you over the ledge? I can. And that gave Thor a level up. Environmental hazard. That's hilarious. Let's get the Stormbringer in here. That'll finish off at least one of those guys, set the other guy up for a reasonable follow-up as well. And then the last three are all mighty enemies that jump in right here, all in a line, so we can just ability attack them to get them stunned, and then finish them off. Right like that. Yeah, we'll be at Claw before. We'll be through Claw before 2:30. Easy.
AIM has taken control of the palace's defenses. We must destroy the control modules.
Once the control modules are destroyed, Wakanda's defenses will be restored, and AIM will be vanquished.
Okay, the other thing that you can do here is you can just bypass that entire sequence, and then you can summon in someone powerful like Hulk to just come in and annihilate these hazards.
With the statues under our control, we can show AIM what they are truly.
Oh, that is one of my favorite tricks in this entire run, is blitzing past that and then summoning a stronger character up to finish doing your dirty work. It's glorious. And Nightcrawler went down, but he's going to get revived for free right here, which isn't great in terms of time, but it'll get us through here, and that's fine. Now for one of my least favorite fights in this game. I really don't like the Claw fight, because he's got a suppression mechanic that discourages retaliation from your team, and I got a very nice synergy off there, and it didn't stun him, which I'm a little bit salty about. What is this, Claw?
You just got VIP tickets to a private listening session.
We're not here for you, Claw. We just want the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, with those attacks that just rebound off of the walls everywhere in here. Oh, nice. There we go. That's the stun I was looking for. And let's see how these extreme attacks follow up for us. Got a decent chunk of his health out. Okay, he's going to do his rebound attack. Ooh. Fortunately, we got away from that. Okay, he double charged it. There we go. Excellent work there. Now we just need to have a brief chat with Bucky here. Skip through a cutscene or two. I think this is the one that makes me freak out just a little bit, because I really don't know. Okay, we're going to level characters when we get into this next section. It's one of the last times that we'll be doing that. We're making actually really good time here. Again, unfortunately don't know how this run is comparing to the previous one, but we're on really good pace. Oh, that was my neck. It was a much needed relief there. Here we go.
We're approaching the throne room, my friends.
Let's get some character leveling in here. Stormbringer is going to be a really good ability to have upgraded for Thor. Unfortunately, he's just very low level. Thunderclap is a good one for Hulk. But apparently I've got to throw an extra ISO brick into him, or a leveling cube, in order to get it to the point where I can. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. No, we're going to do the Psychic Knife because you use that one a lot on your own. And Legendary Tail. Oh, we can't do that one. But the Bamf Strike is a good one for you. And that's all the leveling we can do there. Let's have a look at the lab for our Alliance Enhancement, because we definitely have enough to grab this. Oh, we've got a ton. So we can start expanding out into the energy tree, which is good because I need to have additional skills in the energy tree for what's about to happen. We'll get a couple of these strength nodes as well. That's about all I can do for the time being, but I wanted to have additional energy for the fight that happens in Wakanda with Surtur. Well, it actually happens in Hell first.
Would never attack their king.
Nice.
Be careful not to harm you. We are not in control of their actions.
Excellent work there, Thor.
But they gotta be stopped.
It's nice to finally face opponents up to my level.
Got this one finished out. Oh, you... That was a dirty low blow move of you to not allow me to finish that out.
I'm afraid MODOK has turned even more of your soldiers against us, Your Highness.
There we go. Dormalage strike there. Unfortunately didn't get this one taken out. That was not the damage roll that I was hoping for, if I'm being completely honest. Hulk, let's get you back over here. Okay, that was not what I was hoping. I was hoping that I could get a good synergy attack there. Whoa! That was bad because it put Hulk in a very precarious position, so we're going to switch off him now that that character's down. Nice little attack into him there. And then we'll come in here. Oh, nice hit there. And that's what I mean, these green aim soldiers, their suppression fields. They're just my least favorite thing in these later sections of the run. Hulk's down, that's fine. He'll get revived either now or automatically later when we get a checkpoint. And now we've just got this last aim guy. Into the MODOK fight. Well, that's next on the docket, but we need to get into the Necropolis first. He's going to get healed up here along with everyone else. So I'm not too concerned there.
As long as that stone is in MODOK's hand, none in Wakanda are safe. It is our duty to stop it.
And we can just blitz through everything in here because there's nothing worth our time or attention, really. There we go.
Stick to science, gentlemen. Fighting isn't your strong suit. Winter Soldier would have been a lot more useful down here with
And then these snipers are problematic, but... Oh, we missed getting struck by that sniper round by frames. That was rough. Gonna hope that Thor can warp to us. He kinda did. Oh, come on. What is your deal? Come on. This is supposed to be meant for you. And that didn't get it. Oh, what a time loss there.
My tale's just begun.
Oh, of course you did. Oh my gosh, dude, seriously. Wow. Oh boy, we're just gonna get down here, recover the team before we go into the MODOK fight, because we're just in a bad spot. And that was not great, because one of those rockets was supposed to take out that terminal, and that just didn't happen. For whatever reason.
Thank them for me when I send you to meet them.
Ooh, nice hit there. Nice strike there as well. Excellent work.
If everything is just an experiment, perhaps you'd like to test my limits.
Ooh, get away from that. And he just zoomed to the other side of the arena. Okay, he's into phase 2. Because if he sucks you into that corkscrew attack that he throws out, you are in for a rough time. Because he will just take you for a ride across the entire arena if he can.
Any room for me?
Got a bunch of nice extreme attacks off here. Wasn't enough because it's never enough against MODOK. That wasn't the greatest thing to get caught up in, but I'll take that over his corkscrew that he does. Nice strike there. He's just got such a large health pool.
I'm going to take my time and savor this, heroes.
Ooh, he zoomed over to the other side again. Apparently, if you're close enough up against him there, you can just bypass his attack altogether, which is news to me. Get away from that. Oh, Thor, that was a very poor move on my part to throw Thor right into the middle of that laser. Ooh, that was bad. Thor's gone down. But these two should be able to finish him off, and they are. Nice sub 240 on the MODOK. We're actually on really good pace here. Because we could beat Surtur before the 3-hour mark, and that's gonna be
We
big.
have come only to take the stones, but if you resist, we will take your lives as well.
Don't listen to him. We still have a chance. His voice.
Come on, Nightcrawler.
So strange, but so
Let's move down this hallway.
I can read your every move before you make it.
Oh yeah, well ahead of them and their threats here.
That chamber. We should be safe inside.
More loading screens. That's what we wanted to see here. Actually, we can probably be to the initial Surtur fight before 250. We can get there in 10 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Yes, if the Switch Pro is a thing, that is going to be a must-have for this game to reduce these loading screens. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, we've been hearing rumors about it for a while. It even had some phantom listings on Amazon a couple of weeks ago, so we'll have to see.
The Queen of Hell has many
I mean,
helping
Nintendo doesn't play by the same rules of the console wars as Sony and Microsoft tend to.
join the legion of dead that dwell here. Insurmountable danger lurks around every turn in this realm. Choose your path wisely, my friends.
This definitely isn't the same hell that I'm used to.
I hope that yours is significantly more.
Just glad that we didn't leave Nightcrawler sitting in that
These fallen warriors have not yet accepted that it is time for them to rest.
in that pit that's right in the middle of this. This is one of my least favorite combat segments, mainly due to the fact that there's a massive hazard just right in the middle of the battlefield. Send these guys off the edge here. I don't know who that was that sent like 5 of them off the edge, but good on you. Oh, I didn't notice that they're like broken corpses just down on the ground. That's hilarious.
And if my hammer has its way, those walls
We've got to send this guy off this edge. The mighty opponent has shown up, which means it's kind of somewhat abandoned the strategy we've been using, because these guys can't be sent hurtled off the edge. Oh, nice work, Hulk. Hit him again. Hit him again. Hit him again. Oh, if you would have used your heavy attack again, you could have sent 6 of them off the edge right there. Ooh, that was a good strike there. And this is the last of them. Ooh, Nightcrawler picked up that health refill right as the computer caused him to walk over it, and because I took control, he picked it up. That was exceptionally timed.
This way.
There we go. Just sneak right around those guys. And onto this bridge, which still has the glitch of not being fully loaded.
Be wary. The stuff of this realm was not meant for mere mortals to withstand.
Now you do want to stop and fight these guys because they count towards the 20 opponents that you need to take out at the end of this bridge. And I noticed 2 of them were still on this mini-map here. Psylocke, I was going to take care of him by sending him off to the edge, but apparently you had other plans.
Beyond those gates lies our only hope to return to the mortal realm.
needed you to do because you were low on energy points just there. Go away from that. You're gonna get annihilated by it. Alright, here's the Valkyrie cutscene that we can skip through. That was a frame-perfect cutscene skip.
The gates of Castle Hela have opened themselves to us.
Then into the jaws of the dragon we go.
My tail's just...
Okay. Thank you, Thor. Sometimes you've been finicky about giving me that Mjolnir's Might synergy attack, which is what I ask from you more often than not. Sure, let's hit him with the Stormbreaker. Oh, come on. Oh, you got absolutely annihilated by both of those axe tosses? 3 of them. Okay, we've got to take one final pit stop right here. Got to grab the lab and make sure that any additional points into energy that I can grab. Well, that doesn't look like there was a whole lot I could get, but let's see. Okay, everybody has an extra ISO slot that you can put on there. Okay, let's grab... Oh, Thor doesn't quite have one. Come on. I want vitality, though. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, that's about as good as we're gonna get.
Thy words, if thou desirest warriors. I shall prepare my sword just in case.
All right. Through this phase before 250, that should be easy because we're gonna switch over to Hulk. Oh, come on.
These demons born of Muspelheim frolic in scorching lava as if it were a cool spring shower. They cannot be harmed thus.
There we go. Hulk's in a rough spot, but it gets us through the first phase of that fight. Hulk's gonna faint basically as soon as we get to Asgard because I don't think that we are healed up there. But if we play our cards right, we should be fine. Or well enough, I should say.
The Rainbow Bridge. We've made it back to Asgard.
Alas, we are not the only ones who have crossed the veil. Surtur is besieging
Yep,
the
Hulk's down.
Bifrost.
I figured it wouldn't take very much. We're gonna hang out here in the corner, throw out a couple of heavy attacks, and Psylocke coming in clutch with the Hulk revive. Oh, yes. We have Chadentosh coming through with the raid. Raid of 4. Good to see you, Chad. And, what's up, Peaches? Popo Master. Oh, you know, just casually going for another speedrun record here. So yeah, I definitely fall into that category. Guilty as charged. There's only about another 40 minutes or so left in the run, though. So, oop, got clobbered there by that sword swing. And let's see if we can get some things. PB, I haven't done this time, actually, or this particular challenge. The current record is 3 hours and 37 minutes. And this is the second to last world that we need to go through. We just have a fight against Red Skull, and then it's through the Black Order, and that's the end game at that point. In terms of other personal bests, though, I own the record in the New Game Plus friendly category. So this is a similar run, it's just on a higher difficulty. The only other difficulty that can be done off of a New Game save file. I had the New Game Plus record for a while. It was beaten a week or two ago, but I've been working on a plan to retake that one. The New Game Plus run is at just over an hour 35. But there's a lot of character leveling that goes into that. So, yeah, because at this point, my highest leveled member on my team, I think, is maybe at level 35. And for New Game Plus, you can have the characters as high as level 50.
Too many noble souls are bound for Valhalla this day. We must fight.
And then I have 2 other single-player record times, but they're on really weird categories. They're for New Game Friendly and New Game Mighty, but you're not allowed to rank up your characters at all or artificially inflate their levels, anything else like that. So, it's weird. No such gimmicks with the run that we've been doing today, though.
Asgard, even under siege, it is a glory to behold.
The other thing about the New Game Plus run that's insane is you can use any character, and if you purchase the DLC for this game, you get access to Thanos Infinite, who's basically Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he just breaks the meta of this game completely. That's one of the main reasons why the game time is so low for that category. Nice synergy attack there from Thor. And get through this mighty enemy here. Yeah, apart from that, the other main strategies for these runs is use Nightcrawler, because he can teleport and get through a lot of the trickier fights. Or not a lot of the trickier fights, but a lot of the trickier platforming a lot quicker. And get that guy. 3 more. One of them's right here. The other guy's right here next to him. And the last one is stuck in a crevice over here. There's only 1 or 2 combat sections left here, and then we're out of the mandatory fights for a minute. Let's get through those guys. Alright, let's get get back on your feet. I need you for a couple of thunderclaps against these mighty guys right here. Let's see if we can get another one on this guy. Not quite, but we can follow up with one. Thor coming in with the Mjolnir charge there. Send that guy off the edge. There we are. One last fighting section here, Nope, never mind. We can just move right past here. Because this combat section they want you to do up here is completely optional. Because you can just take a backwards pivot down here. And that takes you in to Asgard proper.
I used these tunnels to flee the palace and escape my father's wrath.
Got another hit on the scanners. You must be close to something.
Yeah, there's a rift back behind us that you can get if you're looking to grind out the game properly, but that's not needed for this run, so we tend to ignore all of the advice that Nick Fury gives us.
It ain't pretty, but it beats the raft any day.
And then we get to the Loki prison break right here. Skip through that dialogue.
I've not been a very good brother, Thor. Let me change that.
And then we've got one mandatory combat room here, and then a little bit of a break before we get into another one.
So the things I do for you mortals. More playthings. These are heroics. Should have told the centuries of evil. No?
Let's get a charge attack there. The camera angle in these rooms can be a bit weird. Yeah, considering the fact that a lot of the story plot that we've been skipping through, we had collected the Infinity Stones, and then Thanos' son Thane kind of betrayed us. We don't know that at this point in the story quest here, but Proxima Midnight sent us to hell. And now we've made it back to Asgard, where Hydra is, and Loki, who initially teamed up with them, doesn't like the fact that he was backstabbed and double-crossed, and so Ever the Trickster, he double-crossed the very people he teamed up with in the first place. So, yes, very much so. We're going to switch over to Thor to get through this section, because he can fly up these stairs a lot easier. And then now that Nightcrawler's teleported back to the top, we will resume
Hydra brought quite an arsenal, but it shall not be enough
the
to keep us from
teleportation here.
dethroning their false king.
And let's get through here, and through there, through all the laser gates, and then this is the last mandatory combat section before the big boss fight. Right here at the end of this hallway.
You're not going any further.
Then the time has
We'll switch over to Hulk, because he helps us out quite a bit in the realm of power and range to some degree. There we are. Nice strike there. Hulk's had his energy points depleted. We can pick up one of those blue orbs hanging out on the ground here to replenish that if we really need to. Loki is a playable character in this game, but he is a additional character that you unlock through a couple of other game bonuses. Otherwise, he might not be the worst option for a new game run. However, there's still better options for a new game plus run. He is a lot of fun, though. I made a video about him just this week, talking about how he works, and put him in a tier list ranking as well, based around his viability compared to other members of the cast. I don't stream super often. I'm trying to get better at that. But I do post daily variety content over on my YouTube channel, which you can see the name of that right at the bottom of the screen. So, after the run, feel free to have a look at what I've got over there, and if you do feel so inclined, a subscription over that way would be much appreciated. But we've only got about 30 minutes left in this run here, so I think it can wait, right?
Ends now. Asgard will be ours once again.
And here is the Red Skull fight with a twist. Not the first part of it, though. The first part's pretty straightforward.
Uphold your end of the bargain, Skull. The Queen of Hell does not tolerate failure. Lay down your lives for your mortals, and I promise
Nice
to
hit
return
there.
to my side.
And then here is Red Skull. That initial hit doesn't deal any damage to us. But he is now incapable of being stunned, save it be a very, very powerful strike. Which, the current team that I have is just too low of a level and power capacity to be able to pull that off. Or let's get you over here. Okay, his red mist will deal damage to us and stagger us out. He's about to turn vulnerable. And he's got a very limited threshold of when he is vulnerable. And we're going to hold on to our extreme ability attacks here for a moment. He's about to go invulnerable again. We can still deal damage to him, we just can't stun him at this point. Are you really cycling out of it that fast? The man's mad. I've never seen that happen. Alright, so let's see if you can...
I will smash that foolish grin right off that bony face. Consider our little deal officially ended.
You should have learned by now, Skull. Your kind of evil never wins.
Mortals and their petty wars.
He's invulnerable again. But there's the Red Skull fight. However, like I said, there's a twist, so we don't call time right here. Because Hela sucks out his soul and sticks it in the Destroyer armor. So technically the fight's not done because Red Skull's still hanging out here. Alright. Now the Destroyer is basically invincible, but in a moment we're going to get some crystals that boost our own power pretty drastically, and you get that by taking out any of these little gremlins down here. And then we get that same aura around our characters. And then you see that we're dealing much better damage to him.
Any room for me?
If only, right? And I mean, we do have versions of this crystal that we can equip to the characters after the fact, but it's not as exaggerated as it is here in the confines of this fight.
This armor is only as strong as the soul that resides within.
If the skull's inside that armor, we can't afford to lose. Now I've seen enough giant metal death machines.
So I thought Psylocke had one of those crystals equipped, but apparently not. She does now. Oh, nice.
Asgard will be mine.
Door. Grab one of these. And we've unfortunately ran out of our energy points for our most powerful attacks. Or at least there when he was stunned he was. And that's the Red Skull fight. In its entirety, within the confines of the game. Now we have Odin. And we're gonna level up in the next little world here, which is nowhere. This is where the Black Order has ran to hide. Ideally, we only have 20 minutes left in the run, if everything goes perfectly. But this is Champions Road. for lack of a better term. Ugh. It is a bit of a funny comparison, but it's very fitting. Like, it's kind of scary how fitting that is. This is our last section for level up, so let's see what the lab has. And what do we have? 48. I would have liked to have gotten that, but we don't quite have it. Let's see. Nope, not Hero Select. Oh, I haven't opened that since we had Storm and Black Panther added to the roster. Can I level up Stormbringer? Actually, I think we're going to want to level up. Do I have any XP cubes? It just gets him there. Yes.
Level up.
Now we can have a max potency Thunderclap. We can give Thor... yes, that will be a really good one to have on Thor. And then it's to the Outriders fight before Cosmo the Space Dog opens up the boss run gauntlet here. There's a lot of them lined up over here, so that was a really good spot to unleash that attack from Thor. We'll go back down here where the rest of the guys are. I was chasing him because he needed to go down. He was at low health, and you guys are terrible at finishing up these opponents on your own. Nice work there. Those orbs will explode, doing a bit more damage. And we've just got these last couple of guys that are lingering over here, and then the last 10 will get teleported in. There we go. This guy's stunned, which means he's going to take more damage. And hopefully we can get a stun on a couple more of these guys. Nice hit there. Let's grab that to refill Thor's energy points so we can finish off a couple more of these hits. And then it's just the last 3 over here. They got sent in different directions. We at least got a stun on one of them. Good thing we didn't get sucked into that ability from that guy, because that's a very nasty one. There we are. Now, into the final boss run gauntlet. Interesting. Cosmo hasn't been there the last couple of times I've done this run. I mean, he's the one that ultimately unlocks the elevator for us. And finally, to meet the members of the Black Order. We have a very straightforward fight off the top here with Ebony Maw. And he has the Soul Stone.
Possess the stones, you stand no chance now.
Oh, fair. Teleportation is my trick.
And if we play our cards right,
delay the inevitable.
that's a bit of a time loss on that, just because he went on the bad animation. We are going to hold on to our extreme attacks until the second phase of this fight. we are, phase 2.
Time for games is over, children.
Do not allow the Soul Stone's power to corrupt you.
Fortunately, I don't have any characters that can deal damage to him while he's up there in the air. We can get some nice follow-ups now that he's back down on the ground. And then we'll get our extreme attacks out of the way here.
I expected far less.
There we are. Nice hit to finish off that fight. And we're at 310.
That's one stone in hand. So
Now we'll just zip on to this little elevator.
keep your eyes peeled for Thane. The Black Order may be holding
Team
him
will
prisoner.
teleport to us.
Worse.
And we can get off that elevator a little bit earlier than the rest of the team by teleporting ahead.
You truly believe you can win this, don't you? Fools!
Supergiant was already a formidable telepath without the Mind Stone.
There we are.
I'll try to
Now
shield us
she's
from
got the
her
Mind
attacks.
Stone, which she uses to her advantage, and there are certain attacks that if she throws them out, they will cause your controls to not invert, but it definitely causes them to be skewed. She also teleports around a bit. This is one of those attacks that's... Actually, no. This is one of those attacks that can
Break them to pieces just as easily.
cause your controls to be followed. And you can tell when that's happened because you'll have a little confusion ray above your head. And that's what Psylocke had just there. And there's a couple of things that she can do to give that to you. She's just a very slippery opponent, is what it comes down to.
Stay clear. Don't let her warp your mind.
Every thought betrays you.
Come on. That's phase 2. By the time we get her stunned out again, we can hit her with a couple of our extreme attacks here. And now she's got some kamikaze minions. That's another attack that she can do that will cause you to have your controls muddled.
I'm cutting in.
Okay, get over here. And where is Nightcrawler?
Any room for me?
Fortunately, it didn't get quite as much damage against Supergiant as it did against Ebony.
Escape the influence of the Mind Stone.
Maybe we can't stop the stone, but we can still stop the lady holding it.
Oh, she didn't quite stun out there, did she? She's resisting some of our attacks too much.
My tale's just begun.
Come on, Psylocke. Let's get you over here on Supergiant here. These opponents or these Sentinels are going to explode here in just a moment. That's the Supergiant fight. A little slower than I would have liked it to be.
No way we can stop it.
But
Only 2 stomps. We've got to collect
it's
them all.
okay.
Hey, you think this gallery has a concession stand?
Now for the Obsidian fight, which he hits very hard and is a very scary opponent if you don't know what you're doing against him.
Hawk didn't get to smash Ugly Giant last time. Hawk won't waste another chance.
And you just saw a fraction of what he's capable of with those large attacks that he throws out that consumes the entire arena. We'll go ahead and detonate these now so we can at least burn him down to second phase. His second phase has a lot of additional damage options. He has to initiate it though, because he's going to jump up, slam back down onto the ground here. About like that, but not quite.
For sure. No matter where in the universe you are, ain't no one supposed to have that much power.
Nice hit there. Grab some more of these hits. Oh, that was bad. Come on. Why don't you stun out? I'm fine with Hulk. Running off to revive Psylocke there. And now Cole has initiated the portion of the fight that will allow us to stagger him out a bit easier. Roll away from those. And now we've got some more. Got some more of these that we can throw at him. Oh, that was not great. And we're gonna call time on this fight. Right. See how much faster that went compared to the last one? Now the next fight is the Corvus Glaive fight, and this one is highly RNG dependent. Because there's a lot of things that he can do, and one of the worst options is an attack that he can initiate in his second phase where he retreats from the battlefield for about 20 seconds. You can't deal any sort of damage to him during that entire phase. It's kind of like what Ebony Maw was doing, but on a much larger scale. And even then, in certain gameplay modes, there are still things that you can do to take on Ebony.
My protective spell shielded us from the blast and protected the power stone as well.
We've got 20 minutes left if we're going to beat record, which I'm pretty sure we're still capable of doing here.
Finish him before his partner has a chance to rescue him again.
Oh boy.
There's nowhere left for you to run this time.
Nice stun there.
The reality stone is the imagination of the one who wields it. Let's hope Glaives is uninspired.
Glaive also has a couple of high damage output moves that he can do. Okay, that's the good move that he can do, but there's another one that he can initiate that looks fairly similar, where he jumps up into the air. What is it with... Oh, you're in your... teetering on your second phase. There we go. That'll prompt him to come down a little bit sooner. Yep, this is the one. He went immediately into that. Like I said, he's gone from the battlefield for like 10-15 seconds. And then that ability does have a bit of a cooldown. So let's hopefully be able to get through this. Okay, this is not great. No, don't do that. He's gone into that again, and he's left behind his little shadow clones. We've got to switch off of you. And of course, you roll back away. Locks down. If someone can get a revive on her, that'll be good for finishing off this fight. Alright. Oh, nice, nice, nice. There we are. And now we've got extreme attacks online going into the Proxima Midnight fight. Okay. Let's go. Well, except Psylocke, but by the time we're ready to use them, she'll have
I showed you mercy
her ability
once.
online.
Never again.
Of course she seems mad at her last time. We just sent her husband spiraling off into the abyss.
Ooh, nice. The nice thing about this fight, compared to the other ones, is there are some grunt enemies that are in here that serve as fodder for getting your abilities charged back up, as well as a little bit of healing. Alright, Hulk, let's get a thunderclap up on her.
Branch is welcome compared to what Thanos offers.
Oh, we didn't get the stagger.
This time, it won't end up with me on the other side of the universe.
This stone was destined to be in my hand all along.
Look out. There's
Oh, she's trapped me in the corner.
send you.
We've got the second phase of her fight started here. You've got to have very precise timing on the dodge for that one. If she hits you with that beam, the beam doesn't do damage, but it will bring you in like that. Alright, that one I can deal with.
This is for my beloved Corvus.
of outriders, but your forces will only grow smaller.
Any room for me?
Fortunately, Psylocke is down at the moment,
In the name of Thanos.
so we weren't able to unleash her extreme attack just there. Psylocke's back on her feet. She just took that lightning strike to the face. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. This is going to be cutting it kind of close. Quickly moving up this.
It doesn't matter.
And now the Thanos fight.
I shall do the same.
So much energy all around. So hard to focus. No choice. Must keep fighting.
That was.
If it were not so terrifying.
Oh, this is the one that just kind of keeps coming for you, doesn't it?
Got yourself some mighty fancy jewelry there, bub. Care to dance?
If Thanos connects with you on that one, he will pick you up and throw you across the arena, which isn't great.
Where's the responsibility stone when you need it?
Okay, you need to be able to roll out of the way of that. You have a limited frame availability to do so. Oh, Psylocke doesn't have hers online yet because she was out of sync.
Even with your combined might, you are no more than gnats to Thanos.
All that, we only managed to make him angrier? Solid work, team. Keep it up.
Don't blame yourselves. Your failure was preordained.
Keep fighting, my friends. Thanos may crave death, but life always finds a way
Ah,
to
dang it.
I serve in the name of death, and I shall gladly deliver you to her.
I too serve death in my own way. It would be my honor to send you to meet her.
You think death itself loves you, Thanos? That's insane. She's my girl!
Nice work there. Gamer focus time.
FYI, I'm not technically from this universe, if that factors in when you're deciding who gets to live. The reality stone can conjure up all sorts of unspeakable horrors. I can hardly contain myself, loves.
Look, I appreciate the thought, but you'd be way better off using the Mind Stone on someone like Stark or Strange, or even Banner.
Your allies breaking, but Thanos still stands.
My tail.
Oh, come on. Okay, he just rocketed across the arena there.
You delayed the inevitable. The end.
Nice timed roll away from that. Psylocke went down again, which is unfortunate. We're just gonna do that. Yep. I think this is doable. It's not going to be by much. Wow.
Even if it means allying with these so-called heroes to do so.
The energies in this place are
Nice work there.
He's tapped into the well of all creation.
There we are.
You'll be sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the luck on this final fight here. I think we're well enough ahead to the point that we can do it. It's just gotta be some very
There's no way
optimal play.
safe for you to run.
Don't get stuck in the amber. Whatever you do not get stuck in the amber. And ideally, don't let Proxima or Psylocke get like absolutely annihilated by one singular attack.
His armor has to have a weak point. I just need to get close enough to find it.
Present, future. All time is mine to command.
We all choose our own path, Bane. And not even the Time Stone can undo the choices you made today.
You should have thought bigger, Father. You'll be sorry this power could have been yours.
There are forces at work in that armor you cannot begin to grasp.
If I live through this, I am definitely building my own Infinity armor.
You'll be sorry.
Just so I can stop the real war. I swear.
Oh, get away from that. Okay, he's into his next phase.
Reality is mine to reshape as I please.
Dang it, that's Thor down, and he had his extreme attack online, ready to go.
It is straight to me from the moment I first saw them. We belong together.
Zane, the stones are
And Psylocke, no. We've gotta
You still have a chance to make things right.
revive up at least one of these. Thank you, Thor. Okay. Nightcrawler's in the Amber, which isn't great, but characters that you are not actively controlling take less damage than the character that you are actively controlling. And we managed to roll out of that, which is good.
And any who stand in my way will fall by my hand.
Thanos needs no glove to claim victory. I will crush you with
Don't be deceived by this health bar though, because there is one final phase even after the one that we're currently working through, which is part of the reason why I've been holding on to my extreme attacks. Get out of that.
I can read your mind and your
Doesn't use the ice one very frequently.
Fight against the Mind Stone's influence. We can't let Bane into our heads.
Ooh, that was bad.
It must be from the ashes of this one.
Please, please, please don't erase reality. I really kind of sort of like reality. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's the only one I've got.
Oh, come on. There we go. .35 is possible. Sub 35 is unlikely.
So this is what it feels like to be omnipotent.
Do you really think you are in control, child? The stones are
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, we need to get Thor. Never mind. Okay, we've just gotta unleash those.
It's almost too much to handle.
Your mind and body are far too weak to contain such infinite power.
I got my controls inverted.
Channel his power fast enough. Even his armor doesn't overload soon. Bane himself might.
Get away from that Amber. Come on. Wars extreme attack on mine. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. That's it. 35. I think I can call that at 32. But that is officially a minute and not quite a half, but a minute and a half faster than record. Very hairy at the end, yes. If
You did this to yourself, boy.
if Hulk and Thor hadn't gone down, this would have been
Your fate was
significantly easier. But that is the last of the records that I've yet to attempt. Yes,
powerful for any mortal being to contend.
big wins here.
There's a reason I